touching my titty. Why you touch my titty? Today will be very short. I'm not going to use a lot of this. This is just a statement. Take a break for the day, but today will be short. I had a phone call yesterday with one of my mentors, and he told me what I already knew. I say always how disturbing it is about living in such a polarized world. And I remember getting yelled at. Well, not yelled. I mean, so many negative comments because I said I had so many friends, one-issue voters in most cases. I voted for Trump because I care about Israel. And what he's doing for Israel is, I personally love Israel, but I think Israel should be more compassionate, and maybe that will be a better way for peace.
Your friend's saying that, right?
I have multiple friends that say that.
I thought you were saying that shit.
I won't say the name.
Where the hell you been over there?
Well, yeah, but compassion. Rabbi Schneider didn't say that, no. But compassion will give them a better relationship with the Palestinian people. That's my belief. But they had a different belief. They think more aggressive behavior will beat them into submission. I don't believe that that's a long-term effect that will be desirable for the Palestinian or the Israeli people. But this person voted for Trump, one-time issue, and that issue was Israel. Another person said that they were white, they lived a normal life. They said, I want my taxes. I don't want to pay taxes. I'm building this real estate company, and all of these policies that Trump has given are helping me. He voted for his own interests. So we go. Somebody was afraid. They thought they would lose their health care. I was dumb, but everybody's got their reasons. And I tell people, with love, you have to meet people where they are. I don't know how much of this I want to put. I want to put something on YouTube. I want to leave a statement. Because today I want to say that I want to occupy, even though I want equal high quality education, even though I want a discussion made between the Black Police Union and with the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement and with the Black Lives Matter, and I want to create a template that goes along with the democratic process to do systematic change. And even though I want to make it equal and fair for people of color to buy houses, and even though I got a list so long, but as not a political figure, but as a person who knows a lot of people, I call people behind the scenes.
As an influencer.
Influencer. Niggas don't know what I do behind the scenes.
You're an influencer.
They don't know who I speak to. Hey, Russ. People, even people who are, scared themselves. Hey, Russ, what's up? Mm-hmm. But I tell them what I think is important. There's Jaha Johnson. I'm going to call him back. I tell them what's important to me, and they take that advice sometimes. And so I'm working behind the scenes. And I'm speaking to people. Somebody called me yesterday. This is really why my dream and my wake up this morning, and what I got from Bill Milligan, who's the head of community and schools. He has thousands and tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 students by now in the schools he has across America. Beautiful old man who's spent his entire life creating schools that have higher education in the hood around the country. How many schools Bill got so many schools? I don't know.
No, it's a significant number, but it's
so many schools, Bill Milligan. He said this, so I'm repeating it, but it stuck me later, that I must occupy the radical center. Because the radical right and the radical left, even those who think that they're just progressives, because I got a call, and I started to say before I said this point, I got a call from somebody who said, your man's a fucking sucker, Russ. Who? Van Jones. Van Jones is a sucker? I think he's a good man. He's my man. He's his friend, his former friend. He's a fucking sucker. Why is Van Jones a fucking sucker? Van would send me, here's what they're thinking, Russ. And I would get, recently too, all the time, I would get stories told by Republicans about how they feel. And I would hear them, and I would feel them, and in some cases, very few, I would agree and understand. I'm not sure that would take their position, but I understand. And Van told me that when President Trump got elected, he was so confused that he followed 500 people on Instagram, 500 conservatives, so he would learn to understand their perspective. Not only so he could combat it, so he could understand it. You don't have to combat everything another person says. They may say something good, but he did that. He told me within 2 months, all the people he followed were gone. Like he did not see them. Because maybe imagine if you get something that says pro-life. You look at it on your Instagram and you swipe left. You don't press no button. You don't like it. You probably don't. Or imagine you get something that says pro-gun. Well, maybe if you're in the South and you're black, you might. But most of us, we don't like guns. And imagine you have something that says, so many other women's rights issues, right? And there's so many other civil rights issues. Some of them say, well, why do we want to give, this is them now, not me, right? Why do we want to do so much affirmative action that they don't work? What? We work, we've been working for hundreds of years. But, so we swipe left. We don't press that. So why don't we make America equal? That's what they'll say. You know they say that shit all the time. Make America equal. And then give everybody a chance and... No, we want reparations. Shit, we want affirmative action. But they have their opinions that they don't know how to change because they have their heart. And their hearts are groomed and socialized and trained from different places than our own. So even black conservatives are confused as to why the radical left is so antsy.
I don't know why y'all keep saying radical left. I just don't understand what is.
You don't understand what radical left is, do you?
Why nobody's talking about radical right?
Everybody's talking about radical right.
Well, then if there's a radical
See,
right,
point the finger, point the fucking
But I'm
finger.
saying, but be the change. There's a good friend that named Mahatma Gandhi, inspirator. He always said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." And at the end of the day, we have radicalism because there's an element that's missing.
But listen, I understand Malcolm X and the minister telling the truth, right? And I understand that Dr. King built the bridges and made the laws. I remember going to the state senate and negotiating with the governor, the state senators, and the assembly and making a deal. Tens of thousands of black men got out of jail, but I couldn't have gone there without passing a picket line of angry people who had marched with me for the justice that I was fighting for. They were like, all or nothing. They were like, how dare you, was on the cover of the paper. Russell Simmons works with governor. Governor was Republican. They were angry with me. Do you remember that, Gary? Mm-hmm. We crossed the picket line to get on a helicopter.
George Pataki.
And I went and saw George Pataki, and I negotiated a deal, and it was not the deal that I wanted. Just as when I talked, and the deal I got 10,000 black men out of jail. But the one I wanted was that the judges would have full discretion.
That's the problem with radicalism. Radicalism wants it either their way or no way. There has to be a medium.
You don't understand that there's such thing as a radical left too?
Well, listen, I don't know what you call a radical left. What I do know is that there are
you don't want to even admit that the
because
people
they are person overzealous in their personal quest. Because all of this, what is radicalism? It's persons imposing their will on the will of others. But what we need to have is...
Nigga, if I tell you tomorrow, on this post right now, and if I had the heart to do it, in my heart, I mean, I would say it. I don't believe in abortion. I don't believe in it.
Right, that's not bad.
If I said it, no, you say it, they'll fucking attack you.
But no. But
if I said tomorrow, I believe that every school district, the example, where people pay taxes, that the only money that go towards the education should be the taxes from the people in the city or in that province, that would mean that the education sucks in the hood and it's good in rich places. People say, I pay big taxes, I want better education. And they do, right now, have better fucking schools. The public school I sent my kid to for a little while, in Saddle River, New Jersey, it's like I couldn't believe it.
But that's two different subjects, though, Russ.
No, it's the same
School
subject.
is different
It's
from
a
abortion.
belief system.
No, school and abortion are two different. The abortion is a personal issue.
Difference between
the education is an injustice, unbalanced system that needs to be fixed. There are systematic systems like systematic racism, and then there are these personal things that the issue of abortion, it should be a person have the right to choose. It's an individual right.
Gary, I'm not going to not march. I've been marching all my life.
No, I think we should march. But
I've been marching all my life, and I've been trying to I've been bringing issues to the forefront my whole life. But I'm telling you that the polarization of America has come to the point that either it's succession and separation, or we must come together. And I'm not patriotic. I got to come together either.
I agree with that. Tell that to Trump. Tell that to that Trump.
See, tell it to the other side.
No, but
I'm gonna tell you something. Trump is an asshole.
Okay, good.
I know him for 35 years. I know him better than everybody on this fucking feed. I know him better. I know him better than Joe Biden. I know Trump better.
And you got some email of that asshole that you could have really used against that asshole, but you never did.
But those are personal emails.
I know they're personal, but I'm just saying to show you that he's a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, but those are just personal, nasty emails. The fact that he's an asshole has nothing to do with every policy choice he made. He's a peacetime president.
Well,
he made friends with fucking
I beg to differ
rocket
that.
band.
No, I beg to differ that now, because at the end of the day, he
didn't go into Africa and fuck up Libya.
No,
did he?
Listen, he wanted to.
Who went into Africa?
He wanted to bomb up Iran just a couple of days ago.
Well, that's because he's a fucking nut. We know that. But
but you say he's a war.
He's been a peacetime president. He hasn't been in any war.
It's because he has fired every defense secretary that prevented his ass from going to war. He has fired everyone. I mean, he just fired the one the other day because he was going to.
4 years with no new
wars. He says, don't go to Iran. And because he said that, he fired his ass.
The only reason he wanted to go to Iran because he wanted to create chaos to stay in office. Maybe. I don't know why.
It's before the election he wanted it. That is why he wanted this defense secretary fired.
Because if you go to war, then they always keep the president during war. They never get rid of him. That's almost history.
No. We have in all, as you said, in all succession, Obama took over Clinton war. Bush war. There have been wars. There have been wars.
Most times it benefits the person sitting in office. There's been wars, Mr. Simmons. It benefits the person sitting in office.
But Joe Biden, though, you talk about lead by example.
But everything I say that has anything to do with choices that have benefited America, that were made by people who we have not agreed with, we can point a finger at why it's no good.
That's right.
When Obama wanted to create a dialogue with the Middle East and places where America was not speaking, when he wanted to do that, the Republicans say, how dare you speak to those dictators? And he went to, and you know what he didn't do? He stopped. He didn't keep doing it.
Where's your hypocrite?
They said, Trump, why are you going to go see a rocket band? He went, shook his hand,
and
started.
And they said nothing, right?
He went, shook his hand, and we didn't go to war. Hillary Clinton might have dropped a bomb on them a long time ago.
Well, you're missing a point here. When Obama was president, he wanted to sit with Iran and such. And the Republicans said, no, don't do it. When Trump is president, the same dictators that the Republican did not wanted the nigger Obama to sit with, now it's okay for Trump to sit with them. It's two different.
This has to do with the polarized world and the choices that they're making. But as individuals, the entire world is in you. As a yogi, you know this. Your choices are the ones that make you happy, and your choices are the ones that make you whole, and your choices are the ones that God sees and uses you as a servant for. You have to make the choices. And you don't have to be socialized and pushed into belief. If I don't believe all 15 things the liberals believe, I don't like to fight. As much as I am a big supporter of the entire women's movement, they have eaten so many John Conyers, I got a list of about 100 friends. You don't know what the fuck they did right or wrong.
Russell,
Only the left does that.
The honorable Elijah.
Without
Muhammad,
proof.
There's a teaching.
A lot of different things that the left has done. Angry. And you know what it is? It's also social media has algorithm hell.
Yeah.
If you believe something and you press like 3 times, the voice that carries the discussion of what you thought you believed is the angriest voice on Twitter. It's not the smartest, it's the angriest.
It's labeling, Russell. Labeling is the problem. It's just like religion. Religion is a peaceful practice. However, labels, whether it's Pentecost fighting AME fighting Baptist, Jews fighting Muslim, it's the labels that has always been. So when we label everything liberalism or liberal or extreme conservative, no, I think at the end of the day, people has the right to choose what they want to choose. But at the end of the day, we also know what is morally correct.
But we are being pushed through
conscience.
social media and through mainstream media into believing one set of beliefs, not one belief. You know, I have people who I'm so confused they believe in the death penalty. So many, right? My ex-wife. So if they kill somebody I know, I want them dead. You know, I don't really feel like an eye for an eye, right?
But the Bible, the scripture says it.
I say, all right, well, I don't believe it. I believe punish them, put them somewhere. And punish is not the word. Put them somewhere where they can't, because they have to be insane to kill someone.
Not really. No, not at all.
Well, I think it's mentally insane.
No, they're not. They're not.
More, anyway, I don't really believe in punishment. I believe in education. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in any of it.
Russell, all those white folks that burned the niggas in the South, they weren't insane.
They were insane.
No, they weren't insane, Russell. They did it
just
because
as
they didn't like black people.
You black people burn and destroy and make animals suffer.
Nah,
and you just sit there and watch it, and then you eat it and get sick. You don't. Every one of you fuckers are insane.
They're not insane. You think
the abuse of the living being species that God created only so we can get sick and destroy the planet, in my opinion, is unconscious and insane behavior. But we have to learn the witch hunt. White man decided he's going to burn up all the white women. Fuck it. Went around for hundreds of years and burnt women. Unconscious behavior. Lost, unconscious, sad, sick, belief systems that are twisted. The Germans that put the Jews in ovens. The Rwandans that killed the other religious people. This is sick. And this behavior, and then when it's over, you know what they do? They just go back to normal. And they act like, oh, that was a bad period. We shouldn't have done that. They don't punish. Because it's the mindset of the collective that's gone insane. And those who go against it are traitors. They're sort of radical, left and right. Let's come together and have dialogue. And I don't give a fuck what they say. I'm a sucker too. But Van Jones is trying to understand. While still being a very progressive, his views, he's been socialized, he's been educated, he's black shit. He's been through what they've done to black people. He knows. And he knows how far black people are from equality. And he knows these things. But he says, you have to say, we need equal high quality education. To say it in a way people can digest it. We have to listen in a way that we will understand their perspectives. Without a dialogue, there will be no fixing of the American problem. Between the men, the women, between the left, the right, it just goes on and on. The animal rights people and the meat eaters, he said, just explain. Do you realize this is the #1 cause of global warming? It'll ring a bell in somebody's head. They care about the environment. You know how much longer you got before you'll all die? Say that nicely. It's hard to digest. But say, the whole world's going to die if you don't stop eating animals. And if you don't spread a message of love and compassion for other species, you're going to die. The planet won't die. It'll keep spinning, but your ass won't be on it. There are things that we have to communicate. And we have to do it from a place of love and not of judgment. We have to operate from love and not judgment. So stop
calling out the liberals. Then you got to call out everybody.
I can't help but call out I've been calling out the right wing every day.
You got to call out what. Listen,
See how you are hurt. Stop calling out the liberals.
But it's not hurt. It's that
ain't none of them niggas more liberal than me.
We want to practice yoga, or we want to practice
I don't think they're more liberal than me.
yoga.
I think they're just angry. And I think
It's not liberal. That's what I'm saying.
when you call the word liberal means freedom. Promote people to have their rights and their freedom and their ability to have an opinion.
We got to speak about injustice wherever it is. And in the White House, there's injustice right now. We need to get rid of that man out of the office. He needs to go faster than he can get inside there. And we need to speak up, and we need to find more Republicans. Look, it's amazing. Yesterday, when Vice President-elect Kamala went to the Senate, all those Republicans who refused to publicly accept, to congratulate her or accept her as the elected Vice President, embraced her in the Senate, said nice things to her in the Senate, but they will not come out into the public domain and into the toxic
environment. It'll happen when the president leaves.
But what I'm saying is that silence is also a part of the problem that we face, where we see injustice because look at it now. Millions of American families' lives are being torn apart. When these Republicans, they know what is right, but they are not saying to their people, this is right or this is wrong. They are endorsing the stupidity, the immorality, and the craziness that this one man who has taken over a party to boost his ego. His ego is as big as his head. His head is as big as a ass. And that's exactly what's happening. And at the end of the day, everybody is going, you know what they're doing right now? Members of his own cabinet are secretly meeting with the Vice President-elect to really try to help with the transition, because they want to put their country first over the political symbol, but they are afraid to say it or let the president know that they are doing it in fear of their job or repercussion.
But if we operate from love, it'll get done.
Well,
in this case, it's not a war.
It's
not a war right now.
It's a war.
I talk about war. I know war has to happen. I know Krishna told Arjuna. Arjuna said, I want to go meditate. In the scripture, the yogic scripture, Bhagavad Gita.
Cut off his head, right?
He said, chop them niggas' heads off. He said, I want to go meditate, Lord. They were on the battlefield, and God is speaking to Arjuna, the warrior. And the warrior looked out. He saw his cousins on the other side of the battlefield. Mm-hmm. He was fighting his uncle. 2 just kingdoms, or 1 just and 1 unjust. And his mother sent him to war. Mm-hmm. And then he had Krishna as his chariot driver. God was his chariot driver. But God had given his cousin his army. So he looked at a huge army and his cousins. And I don't know whether he got a little bitch in him or he didn't want to kill his cousins. I think it was a little of both. He said, oh, Lord, I want to go meditate. He said, no, nigga, chop their heads off right now. And that became the war. And the scripture was Krishna teaching Arjuna yoga before the battle. So this was the battle. And the scripture, in case you're interested, is very famous, maybe the most famous book in India, translated so many times into English, is the Bhagavad Gita. But that story is, of course, there's a moment for war. I think we have a moment for healing. And Joe Biden can lead in healing. Mm-hmm. And I know that we have policies that fight discrimination. Mm-hmm. And policies that empower underserved communities.
Right.
And I think that most of America, even some of the angry Americans, will benefit greatly from policies that fight inequality, that lift up underserved communities. Mm. You know, there's a lot of poor people who voted for Trump out of anger. We have to teach them love. And then they'll wake up one morning and there'll be a program on their corner that the government has paid for that will help to get them out of their suffering and poverty. Mm-hmm. I think. But that's my thought, but I have to listen. I listen closely. It's not only race, but a lot of it is race when the underserved white communities vote for Trump. They're afraid of Black lives. It's fear.
It's systematic racism. It's not even fear, because they really don't fear nothing. They have the guns. They have the means, they have the color that gives them the access to do whatever they want to do. Unfortunately, if you're black, it's not right. If you're white, it's okay and it's right. And so it's not fair, but it's a systematic racism where these white trash in the trailer parks just determine that, listen, they finally got somebody who's speaking their language and they're going to do by any means necessary. And that's what they're doing. America is divided, and the President of the United States, one of his legacy will be that he would be a president that has divided the country, worse than the Reconstruction days, and it's
No, we will repair it.
Well,
but it takes a long time.
Joe has a lot of work, not to cut him, Mr. Simmons. I commend Joe, but every time he gets the microphone, all he breathes out of his mouth is love. When they say, "Well, what?"
Yeah, but they ain't gonna like his love. His love means police reform. His love means education for people in underserved communities.
I think even the rage in those white folks, when you see a man at the end of the day,
yes,
who you've been hitting so hard in the head, and he turns back and he says to you, "It's okay. They will come around. Give them time. It's okay. I understand."
This is what I'm telling you, my brother.
Yes.
I'm telling you that this is the attitude that all of the followers who invested in the winning side must take on. He said it's okay, but you know what he didn't say?
What?
I'm not going to do police reform because you don't want it. He didn't say, I'm not going to try to put, and this is stupid, because I know every white poor person wants a good education system. And this is stupid, because I know every white person, poor or rich, wants, because I know 50-some-odd% of white people voted for. I know that they want better education, better health care. I know that they want the government to intercede when possible. I mean, I know bureaucracy exists. I know they want a tax fucking break. Right? Trump didn't give the middle class a tax break.
No.
At all. Gave me a tax break.
And that's what it is.
I made money.
Trump,
not only on taxes.
Trump would use rage versus policy. And this is what the difference is, I think, with Biden. What Biden is trying to do right now, yes, there's policies that some conservatives may have issue with. But before we get to the policies, we have to first respect the commonality of each other, that we are all created equal in the sight of the Most High.
That's beautiful. But people who voted for Trump didn't care about character. Every one of them was not a racist.
Well, I wouldn't say everyone then, but I tell you this.
You would say every one of them.
No, I would not say that. What I would say
my
that
friend,
at least millions of them, millions who voted in this.
My lifelong Jewish friend who voted because he cares only about Israel is not a racist.
One of the reasons why Trump
He's not an anti-Semite either.
But no, one of the reasons why Trump has such a high number in the popular vote, also behind the current president-elect, is because that racist element that has been hidden in America came out and supported him and pushed him up that level. Because a lot of Republicans voted for Joe Biden. A lot of women voted for Joe Biden. But at the same time, the racist element of this country, the white supremacists, those that have been entrenched in systematic racism, voted for Trump. And that is what they were trying to do, because they wanted to divide America. They wanted to destroy America. And they saw a puppet in Trump that they wanted to keep.
You see in these people evil that may not necessarily exist. You see in these people, without speaking to them, without dialogue with them, and without listening to them, things that you ascribe to them, but it's not necessarily the mind of these people. It's not the mind of the voters that I know who voted simply because of their taxes. It's not the voter that I know who voted simply because of Israel. Is not the voter that I know that voted because of his policies and foreign policy not to get involved in other people's business.
Russell, we watched the news. We watched the news. We saw Black Lives Matter. I recall...
It's not the voter that I know that's a white man sitting in the suburb and so afraid and racist but doesn't realize it. Those black people on the street, it's unlawful. It's not the voter that I know who didn't hate but didn't understand what we think we understand about our candidate. We have to listen, and we have to promote bridges. We have to be the bridge builders, and each one of us, even if we are strong in our resolve to make every change that we're going to try to make, if we were to get the Senate, we have to do it gracefully.
Pastor, do you know that this president, to this date, when all the uprising with this Black Lives Matter, to this date, has not spoken to the suffering or what even initiate or cause that uprising in this country? But all he's spoken to about is that
he's gone. Fuck him, he's gone.
Well, no, he's still the president. And at the end of the day, we're having this conversation because we should be talking about policies now and way forward. But what we're talking about,
are easy. But we know what we've been suffering from and what we believe needs change.
The policies won't happen, Russell. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The toxicity of the country is so divided right now that even the Senate, whether Republicans keep it or the Democrats get it, there's such a toxic inside of the system that the policymakers themselves has become the breeder of the
Democrats
toxicity.
Get the control of the Senate, there will be police reform. And Camilla, our sister, has put herself in harm's way and said publicly that she wants to see prosecutors free from the control of the police unions. Police unions are amongst the most powerful lobbyists in this country, and they underwrite and fund a little bit of all of the Democrats who run in Congress. They are paying everybody. They pay mostly Republicans, but they also pay Democrats.
Well,
so the police unions are powerful. Camilla said that the animal product is destroying the planet. It's not fucking genius to say that, but it's a hell of a thing for a leader in America to say that.
Yeah, but you know, Kamala is going to do a good job.
So maybe she'll enact some ways to stop the factory farming industry from emitting so much gas. Maybe the Democrats will have to agree, even though they're being paid by the factory farming industry too. Maybe they will limit the way that these people are and slow down, because if they don't, we'll all die. Right. So maybe they will do some things to preserve the environment. Maybe they'll do some things to stop the spread of all the disease. Maybe they'll do some things to limit the contaminants that are in our food. Maybe only. And that'll only happen when the people force them to make those choices. But those are things that a lot of pro-business people, who are in some cases Republicans, some Democrats, that want to just continue to exploit and take advantage of the planet. That's what they do. That's why we occupied Wall Street every day.
There is policies, and there's a methodology in how policies are implemented, and I think we have to be careful of the expectations that we are setting for the new administration. We have to give them time to get in there. There's a lot of cleaning up has to take place, and I think we have to not heighten the expectation so high that people become frustrated when nothing happens. What we have to do is to take one or two of the main key policies and champion those and help support them, because until they have the support from the masses, it's going to be difficult for the implementation.
They can't implement anything without the masses. Because if Camilla were to say the factory farming industry is destroying the planet, she'd get killed unless she had the people behind her.
But that's an industry, Russell, that, again, there's a lot of dialogue.
$1 trillion industry. You think they're going to let her, a black woman,
but there's more
get
police
them
reform right now is more prevalent than the factory one right now. We got to prioritize what is it that we need as a people to move our society forward.
We prioritized healthcare and left black people in jail when Obama got in office. So if we win the Congress, we got to do both.
Obama didn't leave people in jail. Obama got a lot of people out of jail during his time, Russell. And I think
I don't give a fuck about those few that he got out on some pardon.
No,
Obama did not do. I worked my whole life on this. Don't get me. I worked my entire life on the prison industrial complex and what it has done to the black people and the new Jim Crow that they created.
Let me finish. The bill that Trump signed, who started that bill?
Obama in 2007 asked him, say, listen, I can't go on the road with you unless you agree that you know that until Eric Holder called us after we made that movie House I Live In, the second movie we made on the subject, and Justin Bieber and Kim Kardashian, who tweeted for us that it was Jim Crow, that it was the prison industrial complex was enslaving black people. Justin Bieber.
White folks.
And then Eric Holder called me.
White
you know why?
folks.
Because it was becoming an issue that was public and was becoming popular in the public to work on. And what did he do? He issued an executive order because he no longer had power to Congress or the Senate.
You are acting as if Trump. You're acting like a little Trumpism at time, because the truth of the matter is that
Trump did what the Democrats were finally ready to do. Yes.
No, it's not what the Democrats finally did. Obama could not do much
because he was a
he
had the power to Senate.
Systematic racism nigger. He was a nigger. Everything that Trump did.
I'm not knocking Obama. I'm saying yes, in the way I am.
No,
the first 4 years, he had the chance to get a bill crossed that would change the way we treat nonviolent drug offenders, and we did not do that bill. We were focused on health care. We didn't do it. I know, I watched it,
He
Gary.
was focused on the economy. He inherited an economy, Russell, that people didn't have jobs.
Gary, that's I can eat and chew gum, nigga.
Russell, you know, and I know.
You ever have salad, and after your salad, you have steak?
Yes, I have. Well, most niggas start with a salad and go to the steak.
You have steak?
Well, I mean, I have vegan steak now, but I'm saying...
My point I'm making is, Gary, he could have pushed, and policies, so could Senate and Congress have pushed.
When Obama came into office, the economy crashed. The country was in a recession. All the jobs in Michigan, all the car dealership, everything was down. he had to go in there to stimulate, and that's what him and Biden was credited for. And this is the work that they went in there. They had to
finally,
focus.
Obama made a executive order to free and change the way that we treat first-time nonviolent drug offenders, and it was done by Eric Holder, the Attorney General, and he called because there was too much pressure. So now he had the support systems he needed. Now he had the support systems he needed to do it. So he did it because the people were promoting it. He didn't do it because he promised. He didn't do it because he was the president and he had the power. He didn't use the power when he had the chance. He was working on health care. I get it.
He did, Russell. And until you understand systematical racism, if you read the president is now speaking out now. And I'm glad that Obama has finally written enough books to help educate. He's going around the country and he's educating now in his memoir.
Obama.
You know what he's saying? He's letting you know as Americans what he had to face as a black man running this country, the systematic racism. Mitch McConnell, that same cracker that is now in the Senate as the leader, he made it publicly known that he will block everything to ensure that Obama was a one-term president and would have stalled everything that would have made the Obama administration look good. And then when Trump got in office, he went and he erased everything that Obama did.
Gary, you talking about apples and oranges. I'm talking about the 4 years that we had the Congress and the Senate that we didn't do what we should have done for the prison population.
And that 4 years, Russell, was focused on the economy. The healthcare came into the middle of the second year. The 4 year was focusing on the economy, recovering the economy, providing jobs, stimulating back companies, getting factories, getting all these workers in Michigan and Ohio and all over the country back into jobs.
Yes, Gary.
No, because it's the truth. Because Obama, listen, we may not want to really accept it until we get to the core of what it is. I come back
to my original statement. I'm going to yoga. Listen to me very carefully. So these are, let me just say, these have been practices. I'm going to put the cultural ones with it. We talk about the Universal Hip Hop Museum, and we interview Snoop and Chuck D and Jermaine Dupri and Eric Sermon. Put all that stuff in one part of the YouTube channel, and they're all practice. Because one day this will be a podcast for everyone.
So let the public know that they can go on your YouTube channel.
You can go on my YouTube channel
and watch this conversation.
They don't care about this conversation. Some people might care about politics, but really, Snoop yesterday is a big deal. People want to see Snoop. So when you go on Snoop, there's thousands of people.
You want to hear Snoop say.
Snoop said very good political statements. He made good statements about a number of important issues.
Lifestyle.
He talked about the hood and coming out of it and escaping the hood.
Yes.
He talked about
lifestyle.
what he's learned and wisdom and lifestyle.
Yeah.
No, and so, he talked about how he feels better when he eats less meat.
Of course.
He said a lot of things. So it was a really good meeting yesterday, but it was, different, more broad. People are less interested in the workings of the American government and the choices that we have to make as individuals than they are about culture and music, which allows them to escape and have a little bit of freedom, because God's only gift to any of us is freedom. So can you be free while focusing on politics? You can. You can go to work and smile and give. But it's a little easier to be free through culture and comedy and poetry and the rest. So we're going to do a little bit of everything, but we're going to categorize each of the shows and put them in different spaces. And when we start the podcast, we'll try to use, when we talk spirituality, we'll use Deepak Chopra. When we talk music, we'll use 50 Cent or Drake. When we talk...
But I think Deepak can talk about music.
Deepak don't know shit about music.
No, because everything comes back to one.
He's as dumb as I am. He's dumber than me about music.
No, he's not.
But we know about Krishna Das and Bhagavan Das and some of the yogic singers, but I don't think he knows much about music. We'll have Krishna Das when we do more spiritual talks. We'll have Swami Radhanath. Mm-hmm. We'll have some of the great teachers, Sharon and David. We'll have a lot of different kinds of subjects. And I think we'll maybe have to put them in different places. I have such a diverse set of interests. But one thing I really want to do is talk more about the Hip Hop Museum. And I want that to be separate. Because I guess that's where people are most interested. And where I can still make some inroads to people to live happier and healthier, which is my main goal.
And you're doing a very good job. And I commend you for that, Russell. And at the end of the day, you have always done that. Your life story is that. And continue to do that. But I want you to leave the
horn, Gary.
But I want you. No, it's not about. But I want you to leave this thing from liberalism.
Meditate at least 2 times a day.
This liberty.
Why does it say House of Chicken and you say that?
Well, shit,
this is a person said House of Chicken's her name, and
that's a fried chicken.
You can make fried chicken, Gary, with tofu. You do it at the house.
All kind, yeah, we can do vegan chicken, but all I'm just saying, Russell, keep doing what you're doing, but be open-minded. That at the end of the day, we are playing.
You tell me to be open-minded. Today, I came on talking about the radical center, about sticking to the idea of building
because I keep
bridges.
hearing you all the time hitting that radical quote-unquote left guy. The radical conservative,
Because
the ones
these
that
are my family. I'm
one?
more left-wing than them. They don't want to give up shit.
But if you're then don't beat up your family. Go beat up the nigga that's affecting your family.
I want us to be listeners. As we've just won an election, I want us to fight hard to win in Georgia.
And we're going to win
I
Georgia.
want us to win, and then I want us to gracefully impact the American society with choices that we think will help underserved communities. And if it means more taxes, and if it means more, sacrifice by those who are lucky enough to live in our society, then I'm okay. But
what we need
that's not
more,
quite
Russ,
socialism.
What we need, Russ, is that we need the politicians to start listening to the people who they claim that they're representing, and come to the table and have a dialogue. We are all human. We can all work this thing out together. We're not going to get everything we want, but we have to at least start somewhere. And I think the president-elect and his administration will lead that process. And I commend them for it. And I'm looking forward in working with them. And I know you're looking forward in working with Joe and Kamala. We will make progress. But we got to get Trumpism. We got to get Trump and this racist systematic. We got to destroy systematic racism in America. He's the only one.
Gary,
as president
you will not
says,
destroy.
It has to be destroyed.
You would not destroy. Well, laws we have enacted. Laws are how we got there. Let me just tell you how systematic racism has been
mindset, brother.
Destroyed. Laws. So when the laws change, just like if we change the law and the prosecutors are able to prosecute bad cops, then the cop next to the cop is like, hey man, I'm not going to jail over your ass. And then the cop himself would be, let me be careful how I treat this person because the police union can't protect me. And my man went to jail fucking around, so I'm going to be careful. And so as the law changes, when they put that little black girl in school, what did they do? They brought the army. They shot her in school and said, this black girl's in school. They did it every day, and they put more black children in that school. And then one day, the white parents had to send their kids to school, and then one day it became normal. And so this is how legal action matters. It happens legally. That's why police brutality will not be solved by getting rid of chokeholds. It will not be solved by even re-education of police because they don't have to listen. The education process should be, if you do this, you're going to jail because the law has changed, because the prosecutors are free. This is what we do for police brutality. We free the prosecutors. Has to get done. And this is something that is in the bottom of the bill because Democrats, bitch asses. Did I say that?
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I didn't mean to say that.
You give Trump energy. And that's what we got to get rid of.
The Democrats themselves, the Republicans worse. The Democrats are also controlled by the police union. So we have to push them.
No, that's not true.
They are too. A great number of them.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're scared of the police union.
Well, listen.
They'll run a Democrat against a Democrat who is supportive of the police union. But just like AIPAC would run a Democrat and throw a Democrat out of office if you don't support Israel in a certain way. They are bullies. Corporations have lobbyists, have power, and they will spend the money to destroy you if you don't go along with the corporation or with the country in the case of Israel or in the, there's so many different examples. And the gun laws. You think the NRA only support Republicans? Let a Democrat get out of line.
There's a politician.
And see if they don't send another Democrat in the Democratic district who is softer on them.
There's a young lady
and support him and spend money until they get rid of that nigger who doesn't do what they say.
Russell, there's a young lady who is a member of Congress from New York district, and she said to me, Gary, I run on this agenda to do this for my people. And I went to Washington, D.C. with that mindset because that's my history of who I am. She said, Gary, when I went into Washington and when I was sworn in as a member of Congress and sworn to uphold the Constitution, but when I left the chamber and went to my office and then start having meeting with my colleagues and those that are in charge of the different committees, it was a whole nother world of reality that she had to face. What I'm simply saying is this, Russell. We on the outside are saying things and want things, but then there's a reality behind those
Gary,
closed doors.
you have been to the Black Congress meetings forever. I've spoken at the
I'm
Black
saying there are
Progressive
things that's
Caucus.
happening behind those
I've
doors,
spoken
Russell.
multiple times. I know Nancy Pelosi at the back of my hand. I know what they're up against, a lot of it at least.
Good.
And I'm telling you that they ain't going to do nothing unless they're pushed by the people. And if they do, even when we did the Rockefeller drug laws, there were Democrats who were marching with us but being driven back and forth to Albany, to the Capitol, in limousines paid for by the prison industrial complex. There is a system where our government is controlled by corporations.
I agree with
that.
that.
The Democrats, in some cases, are less controlled.
Not really.
Look at them. Right, exactly. That's my point. So the fact is they're controlled, and they only can do things and say, you know what? I'd love to help you, but the people are watching. The people are watching is the answer. So we have to stay involved in politics, but at the same time, again, be graceful, be loving, be understanding, and you can't understand if you don't listen.
Well,
listen to why people oppose your views and understand them and adopt something from what they're saying in a way that you explain what you believe may be helpful to the collective.
But my thing to you, Russell, is that you're an influencer in this country, and my thing is that we want
We have enough angry influencers.
person like yourself have to be careful in how you and get your base active, because at the end of the day, we have to prioritize
Are we at war?
and an agenda. We are at war. We are at a cultural war in America. We are as more divided than ever before.
I'm going to class.
Your
It's
child
8.
is more likely to be killed or to be hit
Oh,
or
it's
to
time for
be
me to go to
destroyed
class.
on the
I
street
gotta go.
because of their color.
I gotta go.
So, let's...
We talk way longer. The radical center, where we listen to the left, the other side, and understand. Look, they're saying, come to class. Off to yoga. Have a beautiful day,
beautiful
everybody.
day,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Get Trump ass out of office.
We can. Okay. So politics.
You got 10
This
minutes
goes
left.
into its own. I gotta leave right now. Politics. This is called. The other ones, the 3 Universal Hip Hop Museum are called culture.
Only politics sendiri. Enggak, yang 3 yang sebelumnya ada si Chuck D, Kevin itu di counter. Jadi counter. Yang ini jadi politik. Ya channel politiknya.
Channel itu aku dapat dulu.
Daftar. Nggak perlu. Seharusnya sudah. Thank you, Gary. Ini memorinya pernah.
Video shop 40 menit so time